It's 5 months until I become a dad, and I'm at the point where I'm in a weird limbo state. Nothing's changed yet, but things are going to change soon. We do have things like a Moses basket, a cot, baby clothes. Like, we've collected items for the baby, but it's sort of day-to-day life as it has always been so far. The baby is growing, it's starting to kick. It's maybe the size of maybe this cube at the minute, maybe it's slightly bigger, but it's not terribly big yet. But we've got this app where it shows you what the baby could look like. Not what it does look like, but it pretty much looks like a little person. And my main thoughts are sometimes I'll be lying in bed and I get a bit scared because I start thinking about changing nappies and crying and what the reality of having a baby's going to be like. And then I just think about how we've kind of planned for this. We decided that this was going to be the case and that things are going to be okay. Things are going to be better. There was a worry that we had, actually. For some reason, we didn't really research it, to be honest, but we thought that you get 6 months maternity pay at like the full pay of the job. And then it turns out it's actually 6 weeks. It's actually 6 weeks. And that's actually quite scary because as I was just thinking about that hit to the income, that was terrifying to hear, but at the same time, we just got to reduce our expenses, which might be hard with a baby on the way. But my plan at the minute is to save money in a pot for baby expenses and pretty much just start saving towards that. I've been in a state of extreme saving for quite a while. That's been my number one goal, set money aside. And it wasn't just for the fact of having a baby, or maybe one day I might be able to afford, I don't know, a place of my own to live. But it was just the fact of just trying to have some money, trying to build a position, because most of my life I haven't really had much and I just wanted to sort my life out in a way. So over the past year or so, I've actually been meaningfully setting money aside, whether that's into savings or investments, whatever that is. And I've managed to build a position that I've never had in my life. It's not like a crazy position. It's just, some money saved up. But now I want to start allocating money for baby things and exclusively for that. And what I would like to do is actually, when the baby is born, I'd like to open them up a child stocks and shares ISA, and put even just like £1 into that, start building money for that baby. So when they grow up, they might have, something to put towards whatever they need. Something that I think I wish I would have had as a kid. And if you start putting money into it early, you never know how that's going to compound for the child in the future. We haven't settled on names yet. We've got a girl's name, but we haven't got a boy's name. And we can't settle on it because I quite like the idea of having a J name. I like the name Jerry. I just really like it. It's a name that's kind of always stuck in my head. And Jim. I like those two names. And Joe says no. Which is a shame. I mean, my granddad that I never met is called Jerry. And for some reason, every time I play a game, I name my character Jerry. And it's not something I really made the connection until recently that, my dad's dad was called Jerry. And I never met him. He died before I was born. And maybe that's why the name's been stuck in my head for most of my life, because it's the granddad I never knew. And I just really like the name. I mean, I remember when my brother was not born yet and I came up with the name Joe. And that did get really confusing when I met my wife. And now there was two Joes. We used to call my brother Little Joe, and then my wife was Big Joe. Big Joe, Little Joe. It doesn't really work now that, my brother's all grown up. But I did joke, maybe we could call the baby Joseph Jerry. But no, we can't agree on it. I'm quite hard-headed about I really like the name. And we can't decide. So if it ends up being a girl, we'll have a name decided. Now, the thing I think about a lot is how can I keep my creative passions going forward? That's the main thing. I'd love to be able to keep creating for YouTube because it's just something that I've taken very seriously over the past 2 years and I want to keep growing it. and I don't want to give up who I am. I want to integrate that as part of my future going forward. When I mentioned it to friends, I'll keep getting stories how when they become a father, their life is ruined. And it kind of freaks me out when people say that. And there's not enough people saying that things are okay and you can carry on doing the things that you need to do. There'll just be less time. I mean, that's what I truly believe. I truly believe, I might be proven wrong in, 5 months or so, but I truly believe that I will be able to keep doing this if I want it hard enough. I mean, why not? If I can make time to keep myself physically fit, I can make time to follow my passion. I might just have to reduce the amount of time I'm doing it, but I still want to be here making videos. That's the main thing, in some form or another. Now, I have been preparing for September. That's when the baby's due. For a while now, and part of my preparation is on the YouTube front of things is I've been basically making this video essay saga. I've prepared one really long video essay. Sorry, I hit the mic. Which is the longest video I've ever made. It's 1 hour and 9 minutes, and it's a video that I've prepared to release basically when the baby is born, because I do want to set myself up with a bit of breathing space, because I do believe there's going to be a transition period where I'm figuring out what the hell is going on and, coming to terms with the new life, a new way of life even. That's something I want to talk about, fears around scheduling. I love living life by a schedule and a routine. I'll get into that in a second. But part of this is I'm planning on making some really long videos, 1 per month, and then hopefully I can fill in the gaps when it gets to that time. But I'm trying to work on videos concurrently for now and for September onwards. So I've got this hour-long video for September. I want one for October, then for November. And hopefully, as it gets closer, I can fill in some smaller videos, because inevitably I should find some time. Maybe I'm naive, but I should find some time. I mean, as far as I know, babies sleep for 2 hours and then they're awake for 1. Then they sleep for 2 hours, then they're awake for 1. So surely there's time there amongst all the other things. I truly believe there must be time. I hope I'm not proved wrong. Talking about scheduling, routine is the better word for it. I love my routine. I love going to bed at the same time every day. I love waking up at the same time every day. I love going out for my walks when I want to go for my walk. And my plan is to just incorporate having a baby into that. Part of my plan is I've got this device that lets me wear the baby. My idea is essentially to wear the baby as much as possible. So it's like a carrying device, like a backpack, but the baby's here on the front. And maybe it might be a case of, if I'm doing one of these videos, you'll see me wearing the baby. Or if I'm working on a script, I'll just have the baby here working at a standing desk. Or maybe the baby's in a basket and I've just got it here with me on the table, and I can visually see, I can type and then look to my left and the baby. I can just check the baby. That's kind of my plan going forward. Well, it's yet to see if this is actually going to work or not. Fitness is something else I worry about. I mean, I've got barbell and weights in the garden, so I was thinking just permanently leaving that set up and going out and maybe doing a set, go out there for 2 minutes, do a quick set of squats or bench or whatever it is, some pull-ups, come back in, and then do whatever I'm doing and go back out, do a set. I'm thinking just throughout the day, just do that sort of thing, and that hopefully maintain some semblance of strength and fitness during this time. Not looking to push any boundaries or anything, just maintain with very short bursts of working out. I mean, I can go for walks wearing the baby, go out for the walk around my local area. I mean, lately I've been just noticing the sheer amount of dads doing the same thing. Obviously, before all this, I was blind to it. If, say, you buy a car, suddenly you see that car everywhere. Well, now I'm seeing dads wearing babies everywhere. And I notice it every time I point out to my wife, there's a dad. There's a dad wearing a baby. Oh, look, there's another one. They're bloody everywhere. And soon that's going to be me. And every time, I don't know if they think I look a bit weird, I keep staring oh, look, there's a baby. But in my mind, I'm thinking, that's going to be me in like 5 months wearing a baby like that. Maybe not straight away, but, you know, once the baby's neck strength gets up to par, I can hold the baby's head up, the baby will be here. That's kind of my plan so far. I mean, in terms of sleeping, we are planning on doing, I've forgotten the word now, shifts. We're planning on doing shifts. I've been told by everyone that I know that shifts is the way forward. And that's basically what I'm going to be invoking. Basically, I'm going to be turning my office downstairs into the place where I can sleep. Joe's going to, you know, keep using our normal bed so she can sleep there. And then when I come upstairs, I'm going to take the baby in the Moses basket away from her, and then she can sleep. And then the idea is to either have some pumped milk or some formula, like to lean on some formula, to be honest, because, you know, there could be the stresses. Maybe Joe can't, you know, pump the milk, or there might be a problem. I ideally don't want to use the formula. Ideally, it would be like breast is best, if you know what I mean. But, you know, if needs must, then there's the formula there. Maybe I'll try and find some, like, I don't know, organic formula or something. Something that isn't, I don't know, processed. I'd have to look into that. But other things I worry about a lot of things. I don't know, the baby ingesting microplastics. I'm worried about that. We've got a water filter that filters that out. I'm going to get cotton clothes. I think about air filter, because this is something that was weird. We went to the midwife and you do this carbon monoxide test, and Joe blows on it and it recorded, I don't know, 2. They were said, you know, if it's an 8 or a 10 or above, that's bad. But 2, that's just background pollution from cars. And then that made me think, I was like, damn, it's actually kind of unfair that we have to breathe in this carbon monoxide all the time. Is that not just like a bit unfair? Like, you know, just the fact that there's cars everywhere. I don't know. I just thought, like, damn, I'm out there and my body's like breathing in all these pollutants just from the sheer fact of everyone has cars. And I just thought, I guess I just had a moment where I thought, life's so unfair, isn't it? But it leads me to think, you know, everyone says that there's this rising cancer rates and all these things. And you think about all the things we're doing to ourselves. The fact that we're constantly exposed to car fumes, or the plastics in our diet and all that sort of thing. And you might be hearing this and you might think to yourself, oh, not another one of these guys. He's health nuts. But I'll be honest with you, I've been kind of made to be a health nut because I've got an inflammatory bowel disease. It pushed me down this route into caring about these things. And then you find out about the microplastics in the water, and then if you have a certain amount, you know, growing up drinking tap water, there's a certain amount that's just in my body, possibly at quite a high level, and it might have contributed to the fact I even have a bowel disease to begin with. Just these weird things that are happening out there affecting everyone, and the thing is, it affects everything. It made me think about, you know, all the birds, the cats, the dogs, they're all breathing in this carbon monoxide too. I don't know. That's a whole tangent in itself, but they're things I think about. That led me to think, oh, maybe I should just get an air filter. It's expensive though, isn't it? To get all these things, especially when we're going to be having less money as well. It makes you think, how do people even afford to do this? But then you get families where they have loads of kids and they don't even have a job. And they've got benefits to rely on, and it makes you think, you know, it's going to be doable one way or the other. It just means I might not be able to buy, you know, the newest thing, which is fine. I've always been quite a frugal person anyway, as someone who's grown up with not much. So I'm fine with doing that. I mean, I usually use things until it breaks. I mean, I've got clothes that I've had, you know, 10 plus years. I just wear them and I don't see the point in replacing them until they're literally useless because they still work. I've had this hoodie since I guess I was 26. I'm 33. I'll be turning 34 at the end of this year. But damn, my 30s are flying by. I just want to say that. You know, before I know it, I'm going to be 40. I want to tell you one thing I'm looking forward to. And, you know, give it 3 years, maybe 4, starting our own family Minecraft server. It sounds silly, but I'm actually looking forward to that. I'm looking forward to us making our own Minecraft world, and I don't know, I just think that's going to be fun. One thing I would like to do while we're talking about this is I would like to get my child an old Mac. And I know this might be a stupid idea, but I grew up using Mac computers, and there's a picture of me at 3 years old playing on a Mac, and I remember typing games and all these shareware discs. And the thing is that I like about it, there's lots of educational games, and it doesn't need to be connected to the internet. So ideally, I'd like my kid not to be exposed to any brain rot or YouTube at a young age, because I just don't think it's good for a child, to be honest. That's just my personal opinion. And these educational games that I remember playing, looking back, they were really good. Yes, they were colouring games, there was typing games, there was games. I remember there was an encyclopedia game, the way things works, and there was this mammoth that you click like cogs and it would teach you about the history of cogs. And at the time I didn't really read the text, but there was like animations and it was cool. Or there was Dr. Seuss's ABC. That's how I learnt the ABCs. In this video game there was this company called Living Books where they'd read the books out to you. There was The Tortoise and the Hare. There was all sorts of great, fantastic educational games, and they're all out there. And my dad still has a copy of a lot of these things. And I thought, if I get an iMac G3, if you don't know what that is, they're like, do you remember when iMacs had a coloured back? They were like all in one, these big monitors, they're called CRT monitors, built in, a handle on the back. I would like to get one of those, and that could be the kid's computer. It's not on the internet. They can fuck it up if they want. But there's so many great games on there, and I'm not opposed to the kid playing games. I just don't want them to be exposed to, I don't know, like Roblox at a young age. It's so microtransaction heavy, and I don't know. They can play it when they're a bit older, I guess, but from a young age, I'm not so keen, if I'm honest. I'd rather not. Those are my current thoughts. I'm going to be a dad soon. If you like this, I can give you more updates on my thoughts. Thanks for listening.